NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, neuro being the mind, linguistic being communication, how we communicate to ourselves and others, programming our conditioned responses, generally at a more unconscious level of awareness. Now, in plain English, basically, it's modeling excellence. It's looking at what works. Say, for example, to use a metaphor, or to use an example would be, if I was going to run a marathon, then it would make sense for me to study someone who's run several marathons, what they eat nutritionally, how often they train, their thought process as well. So for me, NLP, it's a bit like electricity. We know how to use it. I've never really heard a great definition that justifies the power of the set of skills. It's modeling what works, process. So it's looking at what people do successfully. Successful people have a way of doing things, and it's a way of eliciting that and then utilizing that in our own way. And there's a number of structured techniques as well. There are a number of techniques we can use for confidence, for motivation, for focus, for goal setting, for creativity, for overcoming obstacles, for belief. So it can be utilized across a broad range of areas. There's many, many different techniques that we have that are structured. And the structure of those techniques are the structure of excellence. NLP originated in the 70s. Richard Bandler and John Grinder were professors at university. Bandler was a professor of math, and Grinder was a linguistics guru. They wanted to know, they got curious as to why some people were very successful and some weren't. Or why in a family to get one person would go on and do well, and one person wouldn't go on to do well. So one person would go on and be very successful in the eyes of society. One person would go on and go to prison, for example. Why one person could overcome a phobia and one person couldn't. Why one person could overcome a drinking issue and one person couldn't. So then they modeled 3 therapists that were the best at the time. Milton Erickson was one of the best therapists of all time, hypnotherapist. He was getting results that no one else was really getting on the level he was getting them. Virginia Satir and Fritz Perls, and they modeled them extensively, what they were doing different to everybody else, and through that they come up with a series of different techniques and interventions to help people go from A to B. So that's pretty sort of in a nutshell how it's originated in California. Since then it's evolved and people have contributed in its development along the way. NLP is effective because it models excellence. It models what works. It models subjective experience, which is quite useful. We live in a society that focuses a lot on what doesn't work. And in some of the conventional psychologies, it can be analytical. Why? And you can spend a long time convincing someone that something's wrong, and then after you convince them what's wrong, then you start doing treatment. Now, everything's got its place. NLP for me is more how to. More, you're here and you want to go there. From a process point of view, you've got an outcome. So NLP is very transferable. It can be utilized in therapy. It can be used in coaching. For me, NLP is about utilizing it based on your skill set. So if you're a personal trainer, then you can utilize it based on your remit. If you're a coach, on your remit. If you're a therapist, then you could utilize based on your remit. So if you're a personal trainer, I guess you would stick to what the remit of personal training is. You're a teacher, likewise. If you're a therapist, then you could consider utilizing it as an approach, as an extension to what you do as a therapist, whatever that therapy is that you do. So you can transfer it across a broad range of areas. And I certainly utilize NLP as with several other modalities.